running for re-election in a district that looks different. Do you
Right.
have any concerns moving forward about the way that your district looks now that you're going to be running it?
No, I mean, of course, Michigan lost one congressional seat, so every single district is different. Mine is not that dramatically different than it was. I mean, it still is comprised of communities that I've represented for a decade, Flint, Saginaw, Bay City area, but now also will include the city of Midland and part of Midland County. But it's very familiar territory to me. I mean, this is home, and I've grown up here, so I feel really comfortable running in this district and really feel like the people in the new part of the district deal with the same kind of struggles, live in the same economy, have the same challenges as the other people in the sort of mid-Michigan. We're all one big community, and I look forward to running and hopefully representing this new district.
Yeah, is it going to change any of your priorities, do you think, moving forward? Because you're losing a lot of the rural part of your district, parts of Tuscola County, Aranac, and those areas. So will it change any of your priorities, considering you're going to have more of the cities in there? You're going to get Midland, and yes, there's some rural with that, but it seems like you're going to have less of those rural communities.
Yeah, I'll still have a good amount of rural and urban, which is what I've represented all along. But you know what I've discovered in the work that I've done is that if you live in a small town or in a medium-sized city, people are concerned about the same things. They want decent infrastructure. They want us to protect the Great Lakes because we all depend on them. They want us to deal with the PFAS contamination. They want us especially to make sure that the cost of prescription drugs is under control. So while sometimes there are differences, we'll work on those. And I represent diverse areas before. We can have communities that are diverse that we can all represent and work on. But there is so much in common with people who live in our part of the state of Michigan. We face so many of the same challenges. Those families have the same struggles sitting at their kitchen table, no matter where that table is located. And so I look forward to working on those issues.
There is already a very big partisan divide with these new districts. The Michigan Republican Party has put out that this favors Democrats. There's a lot of concern from the conservative side on that. Do you think that this was drawn fair? Feels like no matter how these lines get drawn, not everybody can be happy.
Yeah, I mean, of course, anyone can pick apart the maps. I mean, we all could do that. We all could say if it was just us doing it, we might have done it differently. But thank goodness for the first time in Michigan's history, the political parties and the politicians are not picking these districts. It was done by an independent commission. And I guess one way to decide whether or not it's fair is that if you hear people on both sides kind of grumbling about it, which I think we have. So I think, this is, fair is a subjective concept, but this is fair in the sense that I know why the Republicans are mad. They didn't get to draw the maps. Somebody else did. But I think this is as fair as you're going to get, knowing that there's always room for criticism.
Do you have concerns, though, moving forward as you're looking here at a re-election campaign, that you're going to have one less representative from Michigan with you in DC,
Yeah,
Republican or Democrat?
I am concerned about that. And especially, our delegation, despite the fact that we are split from a partisan standpoint, we come together on issues that really matter for Michigan. We come together to protect the Great Lakes. We come together to protect our manufacturing industry. We come together to protect Michigan agriculture. And we'll have one less voice doing that. So I think for most of us, what we figure is that means we just have to redouble our efforts. I'm in a key position on the Ways and Means Committee and on the Budget Committee to impact those issues. I want to continue to do that. But we have people on the Republican side that are in key positions. John Molinar is a member of the Appropriations Committee. He and I work really well together. So the hope is that we'll be able to overcome the loss of one seat by just redoubling our efforts and working that much harder.
There was obviously a couple hours ago some wondering, where is Molinar going to run? He's cleared that up for us tonight. But for you, have you spoken with him? You talked to him as a colleague who you respect and look to, and someone who works with you in a partisan way. So Are you glad to see where he's running? Do you think that's a good thing for Michigan? And have you had a chance to speak to him?
Yeah, I haven't talked to him today. John and I see one another quite often. Obviously, we fly back and forth to Washington all the time, and we're friends. But I haven't spoken to him yet. But I'm glad and somewhat expected that John would do that would run in that new second district, because it represents such a big percentage of the current district that he represents. It made sense. And so, hopefully he and I are going to continue to be able to work together representing, these two districts. We shared Saginaw County for a very long time and worked really well together representing that community. Now it looks like if we're both successful, we'll share parts of Midland County, and I'm sure we're going to be able to work together just as well.
Do you think the new districts are going to be good for your party, or could you see the Republican Party gaining from this?
Yeah, I think the people win. There's too much emphasis right now on partisanship in the country, and especially in Washington. I think it's a fair map, and it's up to the voters to decide whether these are going to be districts represented by Democrats or Republicans. And I think what this map does is puts the power in the hands of the voters, not in the hands of some politician sitting in a basement drawing their own map for their own district. That day is gone, and that's a good thing.
Is this new district going to change much for you when it comes to campaigning? It seems like you're going to have a little less ground to cover. Maybe, I don't know how it affects population specifically. I haven't looked that closely yet, but it is less ground for you to have to cover. Do you think you'll be able to meet with more constituents?
Yeah, it's more compact, that's for sure. I mean, I've traveled to Oscoda many, many times, and of course I'll miss the chance to represent the people of Oscoda, but I look forward to running in this new district. And, it won't change anything for me in the sense that the families that I represent and will seek to represent all have common problems. I've devoted my energy to trying to solve those problems, and I kind of let the politics take care of itself. I really don't think about the politics of it as much as I do just trying to do a good job and go to the voters and ask them if I can keep doing the work that they've asked me to do. And hopefully with this new district, I'll get that chance.